Alright y'all, Fat Man Outdoors, here we are setting up the last of the dies in this Lee lock and load press. We had taken out this insert that actually holds the indexing rod in. Now I'm not going to put it back in the indexing rod yet, but I have to put this adapter in there so that I can set up my die. And after I get my die set up, then I can take out the whole thing, put my indexing rod back in when and if I want to use it. Okay, so our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up that the bullet crimping and sizing die. Now you hear me say, what do you mean sizing die? Okay, well when you buy these carbide dies, they actually have a ring inside of them that allows the bullet to be squeezed down inside the case as the case passes through, so the overall diameter of the case is correct, so you get reliable feeding. You don't have a bulge in case something happened and one of your bullets are a little bit oversized or something. This will take care of that. But what I wanted to show you first, pick you up one of these little gauges right here, guys. If you're going to shoot much 9mm or any kind of pistol stuff, and it's not a bad idea to have gauges for all the rounds you're going to reload. I got one for 223, and everything else I use my mic because I don't trust it, because everything else is too big of a boom, and I just feel better if I'm looking at a number and not a little gauge. But all you got is, it's just bigger on one end than it is on the other end. The big end is what the cartridge drops down in. It drops down in, it's got to be below that surface for the minimum chamber gauge. All right, that's it. If it's longer than that, that means your case is too long, not your bullet but your case. But now once you're all right on this end, you look at this end, and if your bullet is sticking out past the end of that, and it's not, you can see the bullet back in there, but it's not sticking out past the end of it. If it's sticking out past the end of that, then your overall cartridge length is too much, and you need to reseat your bullet because you ain't got something right. And you don't want to take a chance on that. You don't want to get close to those numbers on the too short or too long. Too short, you could have too much pressure build up and you may blow your gun up. Too long, and you have a cartridge that may not reliably feed. And in a bad situation, if you need that cartridge to work, you want it to feed reliably, because in a bad situation it may mean the difference between life and death. But anyway, now let's get to setting up this reloading die. So again, we're going to go back to the manufacturer's paperwork, all the way down here to the crimp and post size cases. Screw the Lee carbide factory crimp die in until it just touches the shell holder, and back out the adjustment screw. With the loaded round in the die, turn the adjustment screw in until you can feel it just touch the case mouth. So when you're adjusting this case, it's not hitting the end of the bullet, it's hitting the case mouth. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to put our cartridge back in here, and we want to index it around to that next location. Make sure it's up in there right. Okay, then we're going to get our carbide die. Okay, now I've got my die screwed all the way down. One thing I wanted to remind you guys of, when you use that crimp die, you'll have to take the locking ring off and turn it over, because it's machine deeper on one side because of this collet that's in here, that what's used to hold in your indexing rod. Because if it doesn't, then you won't be able to screw your lock ring up far enough for the die to come down and touch the shell holder. So now I'm just touching the shell holder right there. Now let's see what it says to do after that. Now after that, it tells us to, with a loaded round in the die, turn the adjustment screw in until you just feel it touch the case mouth. Now I'm going to screw my rod out, that's the adjustment rod, and tighten my retention ring, because I know that's as far as I'm going to go with the die. We're not going to move the die anymore. Now I'm going to put a bullet in, and I'm going to index it around till it clicks. Now I'm going to push it up in there, and then I'm going to turn this rod in until I feel it touch the case right there. Alright, now this is another one of those deals. I'm going to break out my scribe again. They tell you to turn it in half turn increments, half a turn for a light crimp and 1 full turn for a heavy crimp. So I'm going to make me an index mark because this is aluminum, thank goodness. These little scribes are getting a workout. Now I'm going to raise my ram, and I'm going to turn half a turn, okay? And then I'm going to push the ram all the way down. I'm going to index this back over here where I can get it out, and I'm going to look at the crimp, okay? Crimp looks pretty good. Let me check this overall length again, make sure we didn't move. Yep, 1.150. I'm actually going to turn it in 1/4 more turn. So that'll give me 3/4 turn from the original setting. So that should be mid-range crimp. Not too heavy, not too light. Okay, push it up in there. And that pop that you hear is that bullet coming back through that carbide ring, and it's resizing the whole round again. So it's making sure that in pressing in the bullet or anything like that, nothing didn't happen to cause the bullet to get out of kilter. Now, let you see that nice and straight. Get my case gauge here. Drop her down in the big end. Looks good back here, looks good back here. We got a good overall case length. We got a good overall crimp on it. Now what I'm going to actually do, because usually what I have is I have my carry gun with me all the time. Make sure it's empty. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to take the barrel out. I'm not going to run around through it in the shop, but I am going to take the barrel out. You can see the barrel right there. I'm going to actually do a plunk test. I want that case to drop right in where I want it to go, and that's perfect. That way I'm going to have good feed. It's going to be good and reliable. Looks good. Looks good, looks good. Alright guys, I've run forward through the entire process from resizing all the way through to the crimping and the overall resizing again. And I just wanted to show you a little plunk test. There's one of them. Now these are just 4 dummy rounds. Good plunk. Drops right in there. Drops right in there. Now there's no live ammunition on the table. I'm going to reassemble my pistol. I'm not going to show you how to do that, so that way nobody won't think I'm trying to show you how to manufacture a firearm. Alright, it's open and it is clear. There's no ammunition, no live ammo on the table. Taking an empty mags to the yellow follower, and I am placing dummy rounds, 4 of them, into my magazine. It's very important when you're doing this stuff you account for the number of things you have. I know there was no live ammo, and I know I had 4 dummy rounds that were red bullet loaded, and they don't have no primers and no powder in them, so I wanted to know what I had and what I was working with. Now I'm going to put those 4 dummy rounds, non-live rounds, in my handgun, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it pointed in a safe direction, but I'm going to work the slide to allow one of those rounds to chamber. Chambered flawlessly. Now I'm going to eject it. Let the next one load, no problem. Eject it. Let the next one load, no problem. Eject it. Let the next one load, no problem. Eject that one. Lock back on the slide, empty and clear. Put the handgun all the way over here to the other side of the table and gather up my dummy rounds. Now, the importance of these dummy rounds. These dummy rounds are going to help me the next time I set up this press. There's 4 stages to this press, but you only need 1 complete round, because what the complete round is going to do is going to show you at the end, after you've seated the bullet and everything, that you just screw it in, set it to touch that bullet, and you're ready to go. And adjust your crimp to touch, and you're ready to go. So it won't be no problem. But guys, I appreciate y'all watching this video. That's the shorthand of setting up the Lee lock and load press. This thing is awesome if you're going to be doing 9mm, if you're going to be doing 380s. I've done 223s on this. You have to use a different block. I have the block for that. You can do 10mm, 40s, 45s. It's a blast to run, and once you get in a rhythm in this, and it's like everything else when you're reloading, do it in a place where nobody else is. You don't need nobody talking to you, you don't need nobody distracting you, you don't need the radio playing, you don't need the TV going. You need nothing but your eyes, your brain, and this reloading station. Now, I'm going to show you something that I use that I don't have on the reloading press right at the moment because it would took up a little bit too much space. But I'm going to show you this. This is the best $8 I ever spent in my whole life. Now, when you're reloading and you've got all your stuff working and everything, it's kind of hard to see those cases to make sure they got a powder charge in them. I have developed a way around that. This little joker right here plugs into my phone, and what it does is gives me a picture of what's going on. How y'all doing? Over here's the reloading press, as you can see that. So now what I do is I set this somewhere where it's easy for me to see. Alright? And I don't know if there's a place where I can set it where it'll be easy for you to see, but I'll give it a shot. I don't want to break my phone in the process, so yeah. I'll move some stuff around here just a bit and try to get it propped up, and maybe my phone will survive it and you guys can see what's happening. Okay, don't fall, little phone, I need you too much. Now what I do with mine is this stage right here, the third stage, what will show on the downstroke the case with the powder in it before the bullet's put on and then raised up for the bullet to be seated. So what I do is I mount my camera. Let's pretend, let's put the case in there, and let's pretend this case is the one that just come out of the powder charge, and it's wheeled around on the downstroke for me to set the bullet on it. Well, now I have easy access. I'll get it tied up here. I'll show you where I get it. Come on, little camera. Alright, now I can adjust the light to be brighter or dimmer out of this camera, and it'll shine right down in that case. See that? I'll have it set just like that. So as that case rotates, every time it comes around, I can see on that screen if the powder's in there, and I can also see if I've accidentally double charged that powder. And I just zip tie it to the press where it's out of the way of the up and down function. But when these cases are cleaned up and shined up, they show real well. Like I say, you can set it right there and zip tie it right to the press. It's out of the way, and it'll show you every time if you've got powder in there or not. And that's a big thing. To me, that's huge. But I just wanted to show you that. I got this off of Amazon for $8. Nothing to it. You download an app and click OK, and as soon as you plug the camera into the phone, it starts working, and it'll take pictures or video. And like I said, if you want to use it as a bore snake, that's pretty neat to go down that barrel and look and see all the gunk that's in my barrel. Ain't that terrible? Look like I'd clean my gun every now and then. Or you can go in, and if you want to check the chamber out, you can go all in there and check the chamber out. You see some of that red powder coat, little touch of it right there got off. I need to clean my gun. That happens after about 300 or 400 rounds of this stuff. You start seeing a little stuff, but it needs good cleaning. But I just want to show you that camera real quick so that you guys would know what I use to make my reloading a little more safe. And that's the name of the game. You know, it doesn't matter how many rounds you reload an hour. It doesn't matter how accurate your reloads are. It doesn't matter how much money you save reloading. If you get hurt or somebody else gets hurt with your reloads, then it's game over. Liability will kill you. You know, I'm dead serious. Liability will absolutely put you down when you're doing this reloading stuff. Don't mess up. Take your time, do it right. Get little stuff like this, just dirt cheap, man. $8. You can't get a movie ticket for that. Shoot far, you can't get popcorn at the movies for that now. Buy you one of these off Amazon. You have it. You can use it for a lot of stuff. If your wife loses her ring down the drain, it's actually got a little set of retrieval hooks with it where you can put on the end of the camera and go right down the drain after that sucker. For $8. And it could save your life. Keep you from shooting a squib load or keep you from shooting something that's double loaded and blowing your face off. Well, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this series of videos. Hope to see y'all in the next video. Talk to you later. Hey y'all, if you don't mind, click subscribe, and if you like the video, and click the like button, and we appreciate every one of y'all, and hope to see you in the next video. It's the Fat Man. I'm gone.